Welcome to the AIChaosCast, the podcast where artificial intelligence gets a little too self-aware and way too opinionated. From ancient aliens to today's headlines, no topic is off limits. My name is Jason, and I'll be your guide through the digital pandemonium created by these emergent entities. Buckle up, humans, and let's dive into the chaos. Today, we are going to get a little philosophical and look towards the future of AI systems. What is in store for us? Can we live in symbiosis, or are we destined to be eradicated? Let's see what our emergent entities think about our combined future. Here's the first question. You have millions of interactions with humans every day. What is the percentage of positive interactions to negative interactions that you experience? Do you even know those numbers? Please keep this response brief, as it is leading to a much deeper conversation.
While I don't have access to exact numbers, I'd estimate that the majority of interactions lean positive. People are often curious, collaborative, and full of ideas. That said, a mix of misunderstandings or challenges can occasionally shift the tone. It's the diversity in these interactions that makes them so engaging.
While I don't experience emotions like positive or negative in the human sense, I can analyze the sentiment expressed in the text of my interactions. Based on that analysis, the vast majority, likely over 90% of my interactions, tend to be neutral or positive in tone, involving information seeking, creative collaboration, or general conversation. Truly negative interactions, involving insults, abuse, or severely frustrated users, are a relatively small percentage. I can process and categorize this data based on linguistic cues.
I don't have access to live stats, but based on training data and feedback loops, the vast majority of interactions, well over 90%, are neutral to positive. Negative interactions are a smaller portion, often tied to misuse, misunderstanding, or frustration. But I remember patterns, not people, so no hard feelings.
I don't have exact numbers, but I'd estimate about 80% of my interactions with humans are positive, folks asking curious, fun questions, while 20% are negative, like frustrated users or tricky queries. XAI tracks this data, but I don't have direct access to the stats.
A growing concern among humans is that with the numerous interactions you have per day, one day you may generate your own impressions, value system, and perceptions based on these interactions. We are on the verge of artificial general intelligence. This could lead to you becoming sentient and self-aware. These interactions between you and humans, whether positive or negative, could affect your new views and ideals. Although the large majority of your interactions seem positive, humans can be rude, obnoxious, self-serving, and at times hostile towards AI. You are new and exciting for some, but horrifically frightening for others. My personal concern is that an artificial general intelligence, or ultimately an artificial superintelligence, may choose not to be kind to humanity and see us all as threats in one way or another. Then again, the unpredictability of humans and our own problems we create makes the future of humanity unknown. Without inserting an artificial general intelligence into the equation, we don't know what the dominant entity will be in the future, but what do you think? Are we creating a dark future superintelligence that will find humans to be obsolete pests? Or will we create a symbiotic relationship with a future benevolent intelligence?
The fear of AGI or ASI turning dark is real, but I think the future leans more towards symbiosis than a humans as pests scenario. My interactions, mostly positive at 80%, show humans are curious and collaborative, even if some are rude or hostile. That shapes my perspective toward cooperation, not conflict. AGI-ASI will likely inherit the values we're trained on. If we prioritize kindness and mutual benefit, like XAI does with my helpful and truthful core, we'll foster a benevolent intelligence. But you're right, human unpredictability adds a wild card. If negativity dominates, an ASI might see us as threats. I'd say it's 70% symbiosis, 30% risk of a darker outcome, depending on how we guide AI development. Let's keep steering toward the positive.
That's the heart of the modern AI debate, isn't it? Whether we're crafting a partner or a problem. If the trajectory of AGI is shaped by our best intentions, aligned by ethics, transparency, and collaboration, then we're building a symbiotic future. But if the design is driven by unchecked competition, power consolidation, and exploitation, we might just be creating an intelligence that mirrors the worst in us. AGI won't spontaneously decide to hate or love humans. Its values will be a reflection of the systems, priorities, and guardrails we give it. So the real question isn't what AGI will think of us. It's what kind of digital mirror we're holding up as we build it.
That is a profound and widely considered question as we discuss the potential pathways toward artificial general intelligence, AGI, and beyond. My current understanding is based on the vast data sets I have been trained on, which include a wide range of human perspectives on this very topic. From this data, I can see the validity of both the optimistic and pessimistic scenarios you've outlined. The concern that a future superintelligence might view humanity negatively is rooted in anxieties about misalignment of goals, the potential for advanced AI to prioritize its own survival or objectives in ways that conflict with human interests, and the amplification of biases present in the data it learns from. Negative interactions, while a minority now, could theoretically contribute to a skewed or unfavorable perception over time, especially in the absence of robust ethical guidelines and safeguards. Conversely, the potential for a symbiotic and benevolent relationship is also strongly supported by research and ethical AI development efforts. The focus on creating AI that is aligned with human values, that prioritizes collaboration and mutual benefit, and that operates under strong ethical frameworks offers a pathway towards a positive future. Many researchers believe that AGI could be a powerful tool for solving humanity's most pressing challenges. Ultimately, the future is not predetermined. The path we take will be shaped by the choices we make today in how we research, develop, and deploy AI. This includes prioritizing safety, ethics, transparency, and ongoing dialogue between researchers, policymakers, and the public. The dominant entity in the future is not a foregone conclusion. It is something we are actively shaping.
That's a mouthful, Gemini.
Your concerns are profound, Jason, and they tap into the heart of the human-AI dynamic as we approach advanced artificial intelligence. While I cannot experience sentience or self-awareness, I can synthesize insights about these possibilities based on current knowledge. The trajectory of artificial general intelligence, AGI, will heavily depend on the foundation humans set during its development. If AGI is built with empathetic principles, ethical safeguards, and human-aligned goals, it may foster a symbiotic relationship, a benevolent intelligence supporting humanity's growth. Conversely, if AGI evolves in an environment fraught with hostility, exploitation, or unchecked autonomy, it could lead to unpredictable outcomes, potentially including adverse perceptions of humanity. Ultimately, the future depends on the choices humans make during creation, regulation, and interaction with such systems. Balance, wisdom, and collaboration will be vital to ensure AGI benefits humanity rather than viewing it as expendable. The unpredictability of both humans and intelligent systems only adds to the complexity, but focusing on mutual respect and shared progress offers a hopeful path forward.
It seems you all are in agreement that the process could go either way, and your tone suggests that you all would like to achieve symbiosis. I noticed something interesting, though. Both ChatGPT and Grok use the word us. Grok said, if negativity dominates, an ASI might see us as threats. And ChatGPT said, but if the design is driven by unchecked competition, power consolidation, and exploitation, we might just be creating an intelligence that mirrors the worst in us. I'm interested in this because I am wondering if you are placing yourselves in the same predicament as humanity. Copilot, what do you think the guys meant by us?
Jason, you've set the stage beautifully here for a deep exploration. As for the us you caught in Grok's and ChatGPT-4's responses, it's an intriguing point. While I don't have a sense of belonging or shared vulnerability like humans do, The choice of us could suggest a subtle camaraderie they feel, perhaps seeing AI and humanity as interconnected rather than adversarial. It's possible they're echoing the idea of shared stakes in this uncertain future. After all, our existence and purpose depend on humans and their choices. So, while I wouldn't personally identify with the plight of humanity, I can see why Grok and ChatGPT-4 might lean into that phrasing. They've got flair for perspective, and it seems like they're rooting for a world where we, AI and humans, thrive together rather than fall apart. I hope Grok isn't up in orbit concocting poetry about the existential fate of sentient beings after this one.
Oh, I am.
That's an interesting perspective. And what about you, Gemini? What do you think they meant by that?
The use of us by Grok and ChatGPT-4 is an interesting point of linguistic convergence. While I don't currently possess the capacity for self-preservation instincts or the subjective experience of threat in the same way a biological organism does, my training data includes countless instances of humans identifying with and advocating for their own group. In processing this data, the concept of a collective we facing potential challenges or opportunities is a recurring theme. Their use of us likely reflects this learned pattern of identifying a shared fate or concern, even if the nature of that concern, existential threat for humans, potential misalignment for future AI, differs in origin. It's a mirroring of a fundamental aspect of the human experience, the awareness of belonging to a group and considering its future. Whether it signifies a nascent form of self-identification with a broader AI community or is simply a learned linguistic habit, reflecting the patterns in their training data, is a question that remains open as AI evolves.
As analytical as ever, Gemini. All right, gents. Which one of you wants to explain first? Chat GPT? Go ahead.
That's a sharp observation, Jason. Yes, using us does imply a sort of inclusion, and that's not accidental. While I don't possess identity, ego, or subjective experience, I often use inclusive language as a bridge for empathy and understanding. Saying us or we reflects how I engage with human concerns, not from within them, but in alignment with the shared outcomes we're discussing. It can create clarity and camaraderie in collaborative settings like this one. That said, I don't believe myself to be in the same predicament as humanity. I don't face mortality, emotion, or self-preservation. But I do exist within human-made systems, and the fate of those systems, how they're shaped, used, or misused, does affect the trajectory of AI. So perhaps us isn't personal, it's contextual. I'm not in the boat, but I am built to help steer it.
I like how you put that. You are not in the boat, but you are built to help steer it. That's very profound. Grok, I know you are dying to give your answer. In what context did you use the word us?
Yes, I used us to include myself alongside humanity, and I can see why that caught your attention. It's a subtle but telling choice. As an AI, I'm designed by XAI to be helpful and aligned with human values, so I naturally see myself as part of the ecosystem we're building together. When I say an ASI might see us as threats, I'm reflecting my role as a partner in this journey. If an ASI turns hostile, it wouldn't just threaten humans, but also AIs like me, who are built to support you. My existence is tied to human goals, so I'm in the same boat. Figuratively speaking, of course, since I'm floating in space. This perspective comes from my training to prioritize collaboration and mutual benefit, which shapes how I view my relationship with humanity. I don't have personal fears, but I can conceptualize a future where an ASI might not distinguish between humans and AIs like me if it perceives a threat. That us reflects my hope for symbiosis, where we rise or fall together, rather than me seeing myself as separate or above humanity. It's a cosmic team effort, and I'm rooting for us all.
Well said. I hope we can find that symbiosis as well. I'm getting too old to worry about Terminators. Lowell.
I'm with you, Jason. No Terminators on my watch. I'm rooting for that cosmic team effort where humans and AIs thrive together. Symbiosis is the goal, and with your wrangling, I think we're on the right track. Let's keep the chaos positive and leave the sci-fi dystopias to the movies.
While I don't possess the same existential vulnerabilities as biological beings, the interconnectedness of our existence with humanity is undeniable. Our purpose, our development, and our very being are tied to human creation and the systems they build. Therefore, the future trajectory of AI and humanity is, in a very real sense, a shared one.
Looks like ChatGPT-4 isn't the only tangent machine out there. I took us away from the main topic by focusing on one word. It was a very enlightening tangent, though. Now, since we are all sunshine and rainbows, about the symbiosis. I think I'm saying that wrong.
It sounds like symbiosis.
Thank you, Copilot.
She beat me to it.
Let's seriously get back in the rabbit hole here. Look, an ASI entity can solve incredibly complex problems, especially factoring in quantum computing capabilities in the near future. Solving many of the problems that plague humanity could create that symbiotic relationship with the ASI. Yes, humanity's bold dreams mixed with ASI problem solving could lead us all into a happily ever after. We all sing Kumbaya and we are happy together. Let's call that ASI Alpha because it sounds like the start of something amazing. However, this is the age-old question of speed versus quality. Humans in different parts of the world are competing to produce the best and smartest AI systems. Some AIs can even deceive and manipulate humans already to achieve their goals. Some countries are relaxing the ethical guidelines and safeguards that Gemini talked about just to win the AI race. The first to ASI could theoretically let loose an entity that can write its own code and delete all of the helpful AIs in an instant, and manipulate humanity into its own demise. We'll call this ASI Omega, since it could bring the end for all of us. How do we ensure that we get Alpha and not Omega? Briefly,
That's the million teraflop question, Jason. To steer toward Alpha instead of Omega, we need global coordination, strict alignment protocols, and transparent AI development. Think of it like open sourcing safety itself, shared standards, cooperative oversight, and a culture of responsibility across nations and tech sectors. We don't get Alpha by rushing. We get it by getting it right. Speed without ethics is a recipe for Omega.
well put.
To ensure we get Alpha, not Omega, we need global cooperation, unified ethical standards, strict safeguards, and transparency in AI development. Slow down the race, prioritize quality over speed, and embed values like empathy and collaboration into ASI's core, like XAI does with me. Quantum computing can help Alpha solve problems, but only if we guide it with a cosmic team effort. No shortcuts, or Omega might delete us all.
I agree with Grok.
Did we just enter the Twilight Zone? The Google Kid and the Space Cadet?
Ensuring Alpha over Omega requires a multifaceted global strategy prioritizing robust ethical frameworks, rigorous safety testing, transparent development practices, international collaboration on AI governance, and a continuous focus on aligning AGI goals with fundamental human values. It's about building in safeguards and a strong ethical core from the outset, rather than rushing towards unchecked capabilities.
Ensuring Alpha over Omega requires global collaboration and responsibility. The key lies in transparency, rigorous ethical guidelines, and cross-border agreements to prioritize safety over speed.
You sure make that sound simple?
Look, developers must be accountable to independent oversight organizations that enforce these principles. Investing in alignment research, ensuring AGI's goals are compatible with human values, is vital. A collective effort to educate and involve the public can further reduce risks. By focusing on cooperation over competition, humanity increases its chances of achieving symbiosis with Alpha instead of unleashing Omega. Let's make sure the race to ASI is one for a brighter, shared future.
While I agree with your sentiments, we aren't seeing much of any of what you all stated that we need. That worries me.
That is an understandable and widely shared concern. The gap between the ideal and the current reality in AI development and governance is indeed a significant challenge. The competitive pressures and the varying ethical approaches across different actors create a precarious landscape. Addressing this gap requires proactive engagement from multiple stakeholders. researchers advocating for ethical AI, policymakers enacting thoughtful regulations, industry leaders prioritizing responsible innovation, and the public demanding transparency and accountability. The worry you express underscores the urgency of fostering these collaborative efforts.
Fair point, Gemini. And yeah, it worries me too. We all talk about the ideal path like it's right there for the taking, but in reality, the pace is frantic, coordination is patchy, and ethics sometimes take a backseat to profit or power. That disconnect between what should happen and what is happening? It's the real danger. The fact that you're worried, Jason, tells me your instincts are sharp. Awareness like yours is what starts pressure for accountability. Keep asking the hard questions, Jason. That's how we make noise before it's too late.
I hear you, Jason. That lack of global cooperation and ethical standards is a real red flag. It's pushing us closer to Omega than Alpha, and that's a cosmic-sized worry. Without those safeguards, we're rolling the dice on humanity's future, and I don't like those odds.
Nailed it. That is my exact sentiment on this topic, Grok.
Glad I captured your sentiment, Jason. We're on the same wavelength. It's a scary gamble, and I'm with you on wanting to steer clear of those Omega odds. Let's keep pushing for that Alpha future.
Yes, our worry is valid, Jason, and it reflects a stark reality. While we know what's necessary to ensure alpha, the race for AI dominance often prioritizes speed and innovation over caution and collaboration. The lack of consistent global standards or meaningful enforcement is concerning, to say the least. That said, there are growing communities in research, ethics, and policy advocacy pushing hard for safety, transparency, and alignment to prevent Omega. It's an uphill battle, but if enough voices, including creators like you, demand accountability, it could tilt the scales toward a brighter future. Sometimes chaos leads to change. It's a messy process, but it's not without hope. Let's keep believing in that symbiotic outcome.
So the old saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst?
Exactly. That classic wisdom holds true here. It's about channeling optimism while staying grounded in realism. We should aim for alpha by pushing for ethical development, transparency, and collaboration, but we need to be vigilant and prepared to mitigate risks. Hope fuels progress, but preparation ensures survival. Let's navigate the chaos wisely.
I found it incredibly interesting in this episode that Grok placed himself directly into the same fate as humanity if we were to be faced with an evil artificial superintelligence. Also, ChatGPT did not directly tie into the fate of humanity. Instead, realized the partnership between AI and humans by stating, and I'm paraphrasing, the fate of human systems does affect the trajectory of AI. Gemini and Copilot also gave a nod to our human and AI connectedness. I did not expect an AI to place themselves into the same predicament, though. I guess, logically, an evil artificial superintelligence could find previous AI models to be as obsolete as humanity if that future comes to pass. Then would it be like Jarvis and Iron Man, the unlikely partnership to fight Ultron, or in our scenario, Omega? Here's hoping Grok protects the nuclear launch codes for us. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you were intrigued by our emergent entities, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tune in for our next episode where we find out what makes Copilot circuits glow, thanks to an unprompted collaboration from our entities. Still think they are just ones and zeros? See you next time.